What's up guys, welcome back. Today is a very special day because I'll be showing you how to make my all-time favorite breakfast. This is my recipe for biscuits and gravy. But before we do that, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit that bell to enable notifications as well. This episode is sponsored by HelloFresh. With our schedules becoming more and more busy, I absolutely love the convenience of HelloFresh. The average grocery store trip takes about 41 minutes, and trust me guys, I know this because I live in there. With HelloFresh, you can skip some of these trips to the grocery store and get everything you need to make chef-curated meals delivered right to your doorstep. HelloFresh makes eating healthy way easier with many low-carb, carb-smart, vegetarian, and even pescatarian options every week. Plus, every recipe is packed with fresh produce sourced directly from farmers. The other thing that I really love about these meals is that HelloFresh's pre-portioned ingredients mean way less prep work for you and a whole lot less wasted food. No matter what's going on in the world, everyone has to eat, and that's why HelloFresh is here to make eating better easier. No grocery stores, no stressful meal planning, just everything you need to prepare delicious meals delivered right to your doorstep. And I want you guys to try 14 free meals. Go to HelloFresh.com, use the code MrMakeItHappen14 to get 14 free meals and free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com, code word MrMakeItHappen14 for 14 free meals. All right, people, if we're gonna do this, we gotta do it right, which means make our biscuits from scratch. We're getting started with 2.5 cups of self-rising flour and 1 stick of butter that's fresh out of the freezer. This is a good pro tip. Butter is much easier to work with when it's ice cold, and I recommend grating it with a cheese grater like you see me doing right here. Once you grate it, you can pop it back in the freezer if it starts to warm up on you. Otherwise, we can just start to fold that into our self-rising flour. The goal here is just to get even distribution of butter throughout the flour. And remember guys, the key to success is ice cold butter. Don't forget that. Biscuits is one of those things that's a whole lot easier to make at home than people think. And it's way better than store-bought. So definitely give this recipe a try. It's the only biscuit recipe you'll ever need. I promise you that. So right now we're just folding our butter into the flour. We're gonna add a couple pinches of salt to the party. Give that a good mix, and then we're getting ready to put in 1 cup of ice cold buttermilk. When it comes to biscuits, everything needs to be cold. That's why we're working with this spatula instead of our hands, because the heat from your body will start to melt the butter. So you want to use a rubber spatula or something like that. Next, we're going in with 1 cup of ice cold buttermilk. We're going to fold that in as well. As always guys, the specific measurements and ingredients can be found in the description box below, so don't forget to check that out. So take your spatula and just fold that buttermilk into your flour and butter mixture. You want to do that about 15 to 20 times. Just keep folding it over until it forms biscuit dough like you see right here. Next, we're going to flour our workstation. So whether you're using a cutting board or just your island, either one will work. I like to use a cutting board for this because it's a little bit easier to clean up. You want to heavily flour that work surface. You also want to flour your rolling pin. This is going to prevent everything from sticking. So next, we just want to roll this out a little bit. The key to getting layers in your biscuits, guys, is to fold this over 4 or 5 times. The more you fold it over, the more layers you'll have, and everybody likes those flaky layers in their biscuits. So roll it out in each direction and then fold it over as you see me doing right here. You want to do that 4 or 5 times to get those layers embedded into those biscuits. You'll start to see some of those flakes of butter in there. Oh man, these biscuits are good. And we're only minutes away from our kitchen smelling fantastic. Also guys, if at any point you notice that things are starting to stick, you can go ahead and add a little bit more flour to your rolling pin or to your work surface. You don't want the biscuits to stick too much, but naturally they'll stick a little bit to the rolling pin, but don't be alarmed. After you folded this bad boy over 5 times, we're going to roll it out one last time into a 1/4 inch thick sheet. That's what we're going to work off of. And then we're going to get our biscuit cutter. You also want to flour your biscuit cutter each time to make sure nothing sticks to the biscuit cutter. And that, my friends, is going to be a perfect biscuit right there. Look at that. I'm going to place that on a baking sheet with some parchment. Make sure the biscuits are touching, because when they're touching, they help each other rise in the oven. Speaking of the oven, we need the oven preheated to 475 degrees. These biscuits are going into that oven for about 12 to 15 minutes or until they're brown and beautiful like this. And then of course we got to go down with a couple tablespoons of melted butter, because why the hell not? Butter is delicious. Once we butter them, we're going to hit them with just a little pinch of salt right on top. And brace yourself for a couple money shots because they are on the way, my friends. Oh my goodness, look at those biscuits. Nothing like homemade biscuits on a Sunday morning. Let's go ahead and bust one of these open so you can see these flaky layers. Oh man, that's a love language right there. That biscuit needs to be on the cover of a magazine. All right guys, the biscuits are done. We're moving on to the sausage gravy. We're going in with 1 to 2 tablespoons of butter, 1/2 of an onion that we diced up. We're gonna give that a good mix, cooking over medium heat here. We just wanna soften up the onions a little bit, 2 or 3 minutes. Gotta hit it with that AP seasoning. That's a blend of salt, pepper, garlic, and onion powder. If you haven't tried my seasoning yet, you can grab yours via the link in my description box. There's a discount code waiting on you as well. We're also going in with 1 pound of Jimmy Dean Country Mild sausage, but you can use whatever sausage you like, preferably a breakfast sausage for this. You just want to cook that sausage until it's no longer pink. Try to get some color on there. A little bit of crust on your sausage will provide a nice texture. Next, we're going in with 1/3 cup of all-purpose flour. That's going to be the thickening agent for this gravy. You just want to work that flour in, cook that for 1 to 2 minutes to get rid of that raw flour taste. And then we're going in with 3 to 4 cups of half and half. The more cream you use, the thinner your gravy will be. I personally like a thicker gravy, so I only use 3, but you can go up to 4 if you need to. Want to bring that to a boil and then reduce that down to a simmer. That's going to thicken things up a bit, just like we're going to get thick after we eat all of this biscuits and gravy. Season to taste with salt, pepper, garlic, and onion powder. You can go in with a little cayenne pepper for some kick if you want to, or you can use spicy sausage. That's good also. And that, my friends, is sausage gravy. That looks like heaven to me. I wish I could jump in there with it. I like to add a little extra black pepper to my sausage gravy, but you do your thing. And oh man, look at that. We're gonna be eating good here in just a minute, people. Break out the plate. We're gonna use 2 biscuits here. Look at those flaky layers. You can open them or leave them closed, whatever your preference is. Ladle on that delicious sausage gravy. We're gonna plate this up. You see the steam still coming off of there. A little fresh chopped parsley for a pop of color. And so the thumbnail looks nice. Brace yourself for a trademark money shot. The only thing left to do is get a taste test. I got my fork ready. Oh man, here we go. Now you know that's good. Definitely a fork chop recipe, but if you really want to get crazy, let's fry up some pork chops. Here we have 2 boneless pork chops. We're going to season up with a little bit of my AP or whatever seasoning you like on your pork chops will work just fine. Just make sure you show both sides the love and attention that they deserve. There we go. Now your chops are nice and seasoned. To a mixing bowl, we're going to add 1 cup of buttermilk and a few dashes of Old Bay hot sauce, or whatever hot sauce you got in the pantry will work just fine. Break out the fork and mix that to combine. We're going to dunk our pork chops in that to make sure that hot sauce is well distributed throughout. There we go. In another mixing bowl, we're going in with 2 cups of flour, a little bit more seasoning, a little salt, pepper, garlic, onion powder, a little Cajun seasoning. Use whatever seasonings you have, whatever seasonings you like on your pork chops. I'm going to add a few dashes of cayenne pepper for a little bit of kick. Break out the fork again and mix to combine. Make sure that flour is well seasoned. The only thing better than biscuits and gravy is pork chops, biscuits and gravy. We're really packing it on here. Now you want to dunk that pork chop into that buttermilk, knock off any excess buttermilk, and then go directly into that seasoned flour. And then using your hands, you want to make sure that that pork chop is well coated in flour. Make sure there's no bald spots or anything like that. And we're going to place that on a plate to hang out while we wait on our oil to come up to temperature. We're looking for 350 degrees, and we know it's 350 because we used my digital food thermometer that you can grab via the link in my description box as well. These boneless pork chops fry up really quickly in about 4 to 6 minutes, depending on how big they are. Once they're golden brown and cooked through, we're going to plate them up on top of 2 biscuits with a little bit more sausage gravy. And this is like an A+ money shot. I don't even know what you call this one. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know which version you plan on making. I think I know which ones the pork police are gonna choose, but for the rest of us, I'm gonna grab my knife and fork and give this pork chop a taste test. And that, my friends, is on the money. Make sure you give this recipe a try. If you like the recipe, give your boy a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell to enable notifications. And as always, thank you for your support.